the podcast that brings you everything you'd expect from an NFL podcast. But we're sat here in our comfy sofas from across the seas in wonderful old England. And it's all kicking off in America with all the votes, and we're not getting involved in that. We just care about the NFL. And in week 9, we saw more overtime games than Dak has hamstrings left this week. And we also saw more hurdles and Juke moves than we saw Jason Kelsey smash phones. So you know for a fact there was a lot going on, there was a lot of fun, and there's a lot to talk about. And as always, the main man who, again, has watched his team lose this week, but he's here in good spirits. He's even changed teams. He's a Cleveland Browns fan. Is the main man, Mr. Elliot Greenwood. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right, mate. You mentioned it's election weekend over in America. We're not going Kamala Harris. We're not going Donald Trump. We're voting for touchdowns and fun times with me and you, bro. We're voting for American football. It's a vote for America. It's a vote for us, bro. Excited to get it on. You mentioned the Dallas Cowboys. I don't like talking about that team. The team that Dak on the sideline says sucks. We're just here to have fun out, mate. So, let's rock and roll, brother.
Let's get straight into it, and let's talk about probably the biggest surprise win of the week, and that was the Carolina Panthers. The absolutely awful Carolina Panthers have somehow come away with a win and beat the New Orleans Saints. Now, nobody would have predicted this one. What did you have this when it came to it, Mr. Greenwood?
Mate, I couldn't be happier for a quarterback than I am for Bryce Young. When at the end of the game, when he was doing all of his post-game interviews, he was asked what was it like to go into victory formation? What was it like to take a knee? And he had a beaming smile on his face, bro. Absolutely beautiful moment for him. The first time he takes a knee in an NFL game. And I will say I don't know how he did, because the Saints absolutely battered the Panthers. There was we were going through the stats obviously before we came on, Taz. More time of possession, more yards, more completions, more third down efficiency, more fourth down efficiency, more yards per play. Everything was pointing towards a Saints win, other than the one stat that matters, and that's 23-20 to Carolina. Chuba Hubbard on the ground, sensational again. 2 touchdowns for him. Bryce Young, a touchdown in the air. But why didn't the Saints kind of push the boundaries? Why didn't the Saints get more points? And Derek Carr, again, we mentioned it. This isn't a new thing for him. He plays safe. Okay, and safe can win you games in this league, but safe can also not win you games in this league. And when you're playing too safe, and when you're playing too many short routes and not pushing the field, that's where you're going to lose football games, mate. What did you think about that game, and how happy are you for the Carolina Panthers?
Well, again, like you, I was very, very surprised. My fantasy team had the Saints D in because I thought it was going to be a walkabout. I thought this was going to be an absolute stonewall mauling, but it didn't turn out that way. The first drive, the Panthers D's obviously struggled as much as the offense has, but they obviously deny the Saints straight off the bat. And I think that set the tone. I really feel for Alvin Kamara. That man, free up that boy. He was signing on thinking he was an amazing franchise. No, they are using that man like no one's been used before. He had near 30 carries. My Lord, the poor brother is struggling. He's got broken ribs, broken hands, broken knees. He's having a broken spirit after this game, because to lose to the Panthers, embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. But for me, I think the big talking point is, like you said, Bryce Young, and how mature for me I thought this performance was. This is probably the first time I saw and watched Bryce Young and thought, you know what? He's got it in him to be an NFL quarterback. I think sitting and watching Andy Dalton play, I had a big impact. The big thing for me that I noticed is the playbook and the schemes for Bryce Young have definitely changed since he's come back in. I think he is a man that needs to be in shotgun. Someone that's as small as he is, with how shaky that O-line is, he needs to be able to see the entirety of the field. I think in college, he pretty much had like every single snap in shotgun. And I think that's what we saw. And now he feels a lot more comfortable. Obviously has an INT, which I don't really think was his fault. But overall, I'm very, very impressed. And he isn't holding on to the ball. The league is holding on to the ball. Every other quarterback that's a rookie and is trying to deliver as many times as they can is holding on to the ball, but he didn't. And that's what you need for someone that's struggling, needs confidence, needs form. And that's why they end up getting the win, getting into the end zone, getting into the red zone as well. And that's all that matters.
And mate, he's a confidence player, like you mentioned, and I think that game will do him the world of confidence. Seeing the smile at the end of the game was fantastic, like I said. But obviously you mentioned what did he do well in college? It was seeing the game,
Yeah.
seeing the full field of play. He's a small bloke. He's about the same height as you, Talon. He's a midget. All right, he can't see over those big offensive linemen. So what does he need to do? He needs to give himself time on the ball, and the best way to give yourself time to examine the field is, like you mentioned, open it up. Have all those different routes available to you. Have the dig routes, have those short routes, have your slants, your easy completions, and that's the best way that he's going to be able to move the chains going forward for this Panthers team.
Of course, and for the Saints, it's not looking good. A big injury this week to Chris Olave, who started the game on absolute fire. Um, it's just been a really tough season for them. They're now 2-7. They started 2-0. We thought this team was on a Super Bowl run. I think most teams were very concerned to play the Saints, and it's all fallen apart. What's gone wrong? They've obviously now just fired their head coach as well. So things aren't as pretty in New Orleans as they were a few weeks ago. So what's been the big problems over there?
Well, let's look back at those first two games and let's look at who they played. All right, that second game where they looked so impressive. Where were they, Tarrant? They were AT&T Stadium, the home of the Dallas Cowboys, and they were rushing and throwing for thousands of yards, it seemed, and putting up points and points and points. We've seen the Dallas Cowboys, though, are a bad team this season. They're not a good football team. So if you look at what happened at the start of the season, I think they got lucky. I think they got really lucky. But then the head coach has been found out. The scheme has been found out. You know the way to stop them is give the ball to Derek Carr. Make Derek Carr make the plays because he ain't going to do it. Alvin Kamara can rush all he likes, and he got a load of yards this week. But yards don't mean points, okay?
Yeah.
Yards don't mean points. And when you're not getting in for 6, you're not going to get many W's in your win column, are you, pal?
And I think that is what's holding the end, not being able to get points on the board. I think they had a 4th and 4, which they decided to lob about 30 yards down the field instead of just getting, short completion. That pretty much iced the game for them. And I think they really were architects of their own downfall. And it's not looking good for the Saints whatsoever. Going forward, what do they do? I mean, your season's in a bit of jeopardy, to say the very, very least. You're in big trouble. You've lost 2 of your big wide receivers this season to serious injuries. It's just a mess.
It is, mate. It is an absolute mess. I think the only thing that they can do is put on Red Zone every Sunday and just watch what the rest of the league does. Watch what other
Sounds like
quarterback plays available, because there is one quarterback playing at the moment who is very special, and that man is Joshua Allen. And he played this week, obviously, divisional matchup against the Miami Dolphins. Buffalo, Miami, and
Just
Buffalo ultimately getting the win. And what a game it was. 3-point swing, really, as the Bills squished the fish, as you put on the screen, bro. What did you make of that game? What do you make of Joshua Allen?
Again, a crazy game. I think Josh Allen, he struggled out the gate, to be honest with you. I think they had a few sort of completions. Getting Shakir back in was probably a big thing for him. But he just didn't look like the Josh Allen we've seen in recent weeks. On the flip side of that, Tua Tagovailoa, the last few weeks, he is the absolute architect and the maestro of that offense. Without him in there, it does not work whatsoever. They look so much better with him, so much more confident. Everyone gets utilized a lot more in that offense. And they started probably the better out of the two teams. I thought that when Tyler Bass missed that extra point, that this was going to be the downfall for the Bills. But Josh Allen, I mean, the play where he just flips it over and gets it into the end zone, just cheeky, really cheeky. And that's what you need from your quarterback. And when he goes home to Haley Steinfeld every evening as well, he's got to have a smile on his face. And I think he definitely will after this game as well. But Tua Tagovailoa, he will not be happy. That's 3 games where he's gone off the field, put his team in a very good position, and his D has not helped him out whatsoever. For yourself, was it the Dolphins letting themselves down, or was it the Bills outplaying them?
I think let's touch on Tua for a second. I mean, you have just sung his praises there, quite rightly so, I must say. 25 of 28. But if you look at where he got the ball, this is where I am going to slightly disagree with you. Only 4 catches for Tyreek Hill, and these 3 incompletions came in. He was trying to force the ball downfield to Tyreek, okay? And that's not something that last season we saw. We saw those completions to Tyreek down the field be very easy. Devon Achane got 8 catches. bit of a check down merchant, if you ask me. With two, I'm not going to lie to you, mate. Yes, it works, and yes, it can work sometimes. But when you need your quarterback to put 6 points on the board,
Mm.
I'm picking the quarterback of the Bills over Tua every day of the week, mate. And let's talk about Joshua Allen. Three touchdowns for him, one pick, which really that pick should have been another touchdown into
Yeah.
his column. Jalen Ramsey got very, very lucky. He got absolutely beat in the slot, and it was a very, very well thrown football. 235 yards for Josh Allen. And he also had a very, very clean pocket. That offensive line did very, very good work protecting him. Only 3 total pressures the entire game. You mentioned obviously that defense for the Dolphins. It's a very, very soft defense. Up front, they haven't replaced Wilkins, who they lost this season. And I know it's a very, very difficult man to replace.
Of
But
course.
you need some aggression on that defensive
Oh
line.
yeah.
You need some big bodies, and this isn't unique to one team. This is across the league. You need those players that can kind of punch a lineman in the face, get through that A gap, and put some pressure on the quarterback. And if you haven't got that, that's got to come from somewhere else. That's got to come from your corners, kind of creating lots and lots of time for your rushers to get there. And unfortunately, outside of Jalen Ramsey, they don't really have that, unfortunately.
No.
They've got a very, very average secondary and a very, very average defensive line. That is not a good hallmark for a team that's going to go all the way.
Of course not. And they are probably in big, big trouble. I think their season probably is done and dusted at this point. I think losing Tua for as many games as they did really struggled to get any of their assets involved. And I think it's a shame because that Dolphins team last year, they were so, so dynamic. And I know teams around the league have said they don't really care about the Dolphins because they bottle it when it comes to, playoff season towards the end of the season. And we've seen that they've done it early. They've got it all earlier than needed. But yeah, they are in a very, very tough position. I think Mike McDaniel has to bear the brunt of parts of that. I think it would have been so much easier for them to just trade, for a vet and just give your season some hope. And I think that's probably cost them dearly in the end. But a team having a very good season, to say the very, very least, unfortunately, is the Kansas City Chiefs. Still undefeated. And I'm not a big fan of that. I'm really
How?
not a big fan of that, to say the
How?
very,
How?
very least.
I don't understand it either, bro.
And this time it was probably very close to coming to an end. It was probably a coin toss away from coming to the end when they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, we went to bed very comfortably, very happy. And when I woke up this morning and saw that the Chiefs had won, my soul died a bit. It really, really did. What about yourself, mate? How's your soul feeling after this one?
Soulless, I will be honest with you,
Oh,
mate.
yeah.
Let's talk about Kelsey first, and let's not talk about Travis. Let's talk about his brother. And did you see him smashing the phone out of that poor Penn
Yeah.
State's man hand? And it wasn't a smash; it was a swat away. He could be a cornerback in the league. He was wasted at center. He could have
Not
been there
wrong.
on the edge, defending D Hop
Mhm.
and getting the ball away and forcing some incompletions on the game.
Oh, yeah.
Ultimately, though, what happened? Patrick Mahomes happened. That is as simple as that. Travis Kelce happened. 4 catches for him for 100 yards. Is he back? Is he back? We'll have to see going forward. But that game looked like it kind of solidified
Yeah.
a little bit more of what we saw last season from number 87. Hunt on the ground as well. Kareem Hunt, 106 yards, a touchdown. Mahomes, 291 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Mhm.
But the star man, D-Hoppers, DeAndre Hopkins, coming from Tennessee, going from the Titans to the Chiefs. Wow,
Mhm.
did he look impressive. He just kept getting open. And what
Yeah.
is it about the Chiefs and always getting a receiver that can always get open, that can always spread a defense?
Yeah.
And he was catching balls in triple coverage. He was just absolutely fantastic.
Mhm.
And as good as the Chiefs were, as good as the Bucks were, Patrick Mahomes just sometimes does Patrick Mahomes things. And when you give him the
Yeah.
ball in overtime, Baker knew it. He knew he wasn't going to get another chance to win that football game.
Of course. And I think the big thing is he kept the ball in his team's hands. There was no turnovers, which you've seen of Patrick Mahomes of late, which hasn't really cost them, obviously, but it's not what you want from your quarterback in games and situations. He did go down with a bit of an injury, but that dude, I don't know what he drinks when he goes home or what he has before games, but he's indestructible. Honestly, you could hit him with a bus and his head would definitely not fall off. He's just built different. And I think a big part of this game is down to Andy Reid. The coaching is impeccable. Like you said, how on earth he can get so many different receivers. He can lose so many different personnel, and still the system works. DeAndre Hopkins, like you said, was traded in last week, and he's come in and had an unbelievable game. I was a bit surprised at the fact that Xavier Worthy hasn't really had much to talk about this season. I think he had a chance to get a touchdown last night and really sort of stepped out of bounds and so missed out on it. But what about the rookie? What do you think about him? He's been a bit quiet, to say the very least, for a man that was very loud and very proud and very fast going into this season.
I think he wasn't expected to be a wide receiver one, and I think we all knew that. Obviously, um, prior to Rashee Rice going down, he was a solid wide receiver too, and that's what he needs to be. He needs just to be a speedster.
Mhm.
He needs to be able to open up the field, to give more space and more time to the other receivers. You look, obviously, Kelsey. If you go man to man on Kelsey, you're backing Kelsey every day of the week, and with someone as quick as Xavier Worthy is, not only does he need help underneath in terms of the cornerback, but you also need safety help over the top, especially if Patrick Mahomes is inside his own half. He can sling the rock, bro. He can get the ball as far down the field as he wants to throw it. You need two men on him. So if you're spreading the play that way, that means then you're getting less help to the other players. So you may be going one-on-one with Rashee Rice. Are you then going one-on-one with Travis Kelce? You've got to pick one of those two. Obviously, before Rashee Rice went down, they looked a little bit of a better offense. And why is that? Because the number one guys being in single coverage, then the best tight end in the league's in single coverage, and they got the fastest receiver in the league then, who's usually taking two plays out of the game. If he's not, then he's running away from just one. So you're getting open receivers all over the field, and that's a scary, scary proposition for a team that has proven that they don't need receivers to go all the way. And this is something that we're going to have to struggle with in the league for the next probably 15 years, knowing how good Patrick Mahomes is. This is a question for you, mate. Is Patrick Mahomes, how fast, how quick is it until he catches Tom Brady 7? Does he catch the 7 rings? What do you think, mate? Because obviously we're in another Brady Belichick era with Reid and Mahomes. How long does this go on for? Because I'm struggling, bro. I'm really struggling to keep watching
ridiculous now, though. Like, it really is. I think if they three-peat this year, it's a scary, scary thought. I think the scary thing about Brady is the fact that he went to so many Super Bowls and lost them as well. We could have been talking about man that's untouchable. If you think with Mahomes, he's only really been to one where they went and lost. So he's not really, missed out on those many opportunities. So it just shows that in his short time, they are there or thereabouts. You know what I mean? That's a scary, scary thought. I think it's not going to be too long. I genuinely think, barring serious injury, barring Andy Reid having too many cheeseburgers, this team just keeps on running through. And I just think that no one in this league can stop them unless it is by the grace of God that he gives up and says, you know what, let's give someone else a turn. And when you got the refs backing you, it's easy wins every day. It's Fergie time all over again, isn't it?
Literally, mate. The only thing that can stop Andy Reid is his high cholesterol at this point. There's nothing else. It's like Patrick Mahomes is ridiculous. As a coach, Andy Reid's ridiculous. Travis Kelce, he's got probably maybe a couple more years in him. I think if they get the free pick this time, he's going to be done and gone. But yeah, mate, we're going to be sat here talking about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes for a long, long time, unfortunately.
Of course. And I think another thing to mention is something that we will be talking about for a very, very long time. And that is how absolutely awful the Dallas Cowboys are. It's every single week at this point, Mr. Greenwood. And I said it again. And I tell you what, we said last week that something needs to happen.
This man has to go.
And he's gone. He's got no hamstring. He's off. The Cowboys lose again. No words. Take the floor. What's going on?
What's going on is nothing's going right, bro. I don't know. I think it's hard not to look at the head coach. Why are you going on it when you're down 3 on 4th and 2? And then 4th and 2 is a reasonable play to go for. I don't mind you going for 4th and 2. Not when your punter's throwing the ball to like wide receiver 9. It's shocking. It was absolutely shoddy play. The defense just gets absolutely run through more than... I'm not going to make that comment because we're live, but it gets run through quite a lot, bro. All right. It gets absolutely pummeled. A good 5 times a game. We just get demolished. We made Kirk Cousins look like prime Tom Brady. We made Darnell Mooney look like prime Randy Moss. We're making very bang average receivers look incredible. And I must say, the defense is just probably the worst in the league. Like, genuinely, the worst in the league. And you look at why this has happened. Dan Quinn has left and obviously gone to the Washington Commanders, and he's turned around a defense that was 29th in the league last season to now a top 5 defense. All right, and he's not added that many players. We've in fact lost maybe one player, a safety, who was on his way out when we got him from Atlanta. And we've got worse. We've got so bad, in fact, that we are now the worst defense in the league. There's not a team in the league, Taron, that is worse than us. We are one win away from the Carolina Panthers, one win away from Bryce Young, one win away from Drake May, one win away. I'm going. I can't speak. All right, I can't speak. I cannot speak. Dak Prescott and his hamstring. That's fine. Cooper Rush can have a go. All right. I want Trey Lance to have a go. I want your old quarterback to have a go. I want Trey Lance 19. I want to see him on the field of play. Something different, all right? Other than just Dak Prescott throwing the ball the other way every single week, bro. It's getting repetitive. It's getting boring. And CD Lamb's out as well. What's he done? Why has he decided to get his ribs
shoulder, apparently. He's hurt his shoulder.
Yeah, it hurts.
A bit of physio, he'd be all right.
Yeah, he needs someone like me. Who hurts the shoulder anymore? Shoulders don't hurt. Just get on with it. Get up. You're a receiver. You catch your ball with your hands, not your shoulders, bro. Just get on with it because it's really annoying me. And we're now 3-5, and it's looking bad. It's looking really bad.
Your life genuinely must feel like a Bonnie Blue video because 53 man ruining you every week is just it's horrific. It's getting ridiculous at this point.
Topical humor, Taron. Very, very good for you.
Thank you, mate. That's been cooking for about 5 minutes in your rant. And now we'll move to somebody who had an unbelievable game and a franchise who had a pretty good game, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that, again, they're causing a bit of trouble and strife for yourselves in the Cowboys as well. But the Eagles, Saquon Barkley, wow. I mean, the play, everyone's probably seen it this week. I mean, you see that in martial arts movies. You don't see that on an NFL field. It was absolutely ridiculous. But that offense, even with players out, with players missing, with Jalen Hurts, he's stopped his turnover problem. But now he's turnover big points every single week, either for himself or for that offense. The Eagles, so impressive this week.
I hate the Philadelphia Eagles. They are my least favorite team in football. When Saquon first came into the league, I thought, oh my God, this guy is going to be amazing. And then the New York Giants got the hands on him. And I hate the Giants as well. I do hate the Giants. And now he's gone to a team that I hate even more. And he's just absolutely excelling behind that offensive line. He's absolutely excelling in that offense and out of the backfield. Catching the ball, he was incredible. I don't know what you'd call that move that he did. Behind the back Juke? Is it a upside down? What would you call it? Is it like a, I don't know. A what?
Just boing.
It's a boink.
It's just a boing.
It's a boink. Fantastic analysis there, Taron Sidhu. Fantastic take. He's flying for the Philadelphia Eagles, though, isn't he, mate? And that entire receiver core looks special. Devonta Smith, unbelievable toe tap snag. Just superb team. Like, actually look like a proper American football team. Unlike the Dallas Cowboys, who don't look like one of those things. But, yeah. And the jerseys. Did you see the colour of the jersey this week?
Yeah,
they look cold.
Fire.
They look
I think that'll be on your Christmas list, won't it? 100%.
Not a Philadelphia Eagles jersey. That one will be nowhere near my Christmas list. I was saying that. I don't like the Commanders either. But I was saying Jaden Daniels, number 5 Commanders jersey. That would look cold. All right. Here's a question.
I'll write that down.
Best jersey in the league, mate. Quick answer, go.
Kelsey.
Oh, that is such a boring take.
No, best jersey in the league is Taysom Hill, mate. That man, it's a versatile shirt. I was thinking about I might get that for Christmas this year, to be honest with you. So, what's your choice?
My choice, probably like maybe the new Devontae Adams black and green Jets jersey. That's kind of cold. I quite like that one, mate.
Good shout.
Yeah, thank you, mate.
So if anyone wants to buy us these jerseys for Christmas, just a shout out there, let us know. I mean, we're more than happy to take donations. We're very, very happy with it. Let's sum up then. Let's round out on week 9. Let's just have a little chat about the other games. I mean, the Lions just steamrolling. That team are just beyond the joke now. I can't believe how well gelled and how well that unit have played this week. It's just absolutely ridiculous to talk about. The Bengals as well. Joey Burrow, 5 TDs. We said
Joey
he had the
B's
same
back,
Joey
bro.
B.
Joey B's
but he
back,
is
bro.
back.
Let me tell you
He's
now.
back.
Come on.
I think the heartbreak era must have happened. He's locked in. It's the winter arc, and Joey B is back. And then the Baltimore Ravens, running, stomping, passing, wherever they want to go. That Lamar team, that Harbaugh team is just absolutely ridiculous, isn't it?
It is, mate. And obviously, we mentioned Saquon Barkley. Probably the only runner that's been better than him this season is Derrick Henry. He's got a touchdown or more in every single game this season. And Zay Flowers added a couple of touchdowns to his tally as well. But one thing I will mention is Bo Nix looked really, really good. All right. I know he lost by like 30 points, but Sean Payton makes Bo Nix look really, really, really talented. It looks calm. He's completing simple throws. He's completing complex throws. He's completing good reads. And in a team that really doesn't have any massive receivers, it's got Cortland Sutton. Outside of that, who's he really got to throw the ball to? And for that team to be sat at 5-4 after the dross that happened last season with Russell Wilson, I think mile high can be very, very high up on Bo Nix, mate.
Very, very true. And I think, again, Sean Payton, I'm not his biggest fan, to say the very, very least, but he'll be very happy with how Bo Nix is performing. And Denver will be very happy with how Bo Nix is performing, knowing that they can probably dump Russell Wilson off their books come the end of the season as well. And we shall wrap up there. What an absolute delight that was, Mr. Greenwood. We thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to keep your eye out on the YouTube, because there'll be some more videos, some fantasy videos, and of course, our preview for Week 10, when CMC and the San Francisco 49ers will return to the field, which is, of course, all anybody cares about. Any last words for the podcast, Mr. Greenwood?
No, mate. No.
That's good. Thank you for that contribution. Have a wonderful evening. Please make sure you go out and vote for the right person. We won't make
Vote
any
for
points on
football.
who it is.
Vote for football. Vote for change.
Football.
Vote all out
And we
Brits.
will see you next time on the All Out Brits podcast.
Peace.
Oh, that was brilliant.
That was a long one, wasn't it, as well?
It was, to be fair.
We don't